Claude, all about Keith. It was a fine morning in Haven, and Denzel Peddle was selling everything you might need for a hot, sunny day. A mummy duck and all her baby ducklings went whirling by. One of Denzel's rubber ducks caught the eye of a real little duck who stopped to say hello and got left behind. Just then, Claude strolled by practicing his hooter. "I love playing my hooter, Sir Bobby Sock," he said. "I know you do, Claude," replied Sir Bobbly Sock. "That's why I think it's important that some other people get a chance to enjoy your playing just as much as I have all morning." Toot toot! Claude's hooter made a jolly loud noise, but not quite as loud as a baby duck missing his mummy. "Wah! That's an awfully big noise for such a tiny little thing," gasped Sir Bobbly Sock. "I wonder what he's doing here all by himself," said Claude, putting his hands on his hips in an important fashion. Benny Begonia trundled over to see what all the fuss was about. "Ah," he said, "I think he's lost his mummy. If only there was someone who could take care of him, then I could go and look for his mummy in the park." Claude's ears wobbled and his tail waggled, his eyebrows wiggled, and in his very best outdoor voice he cried, "I can do that. We should give him a nice ducky named like Keith." "Excellent," said Benny. "I'll come and get you when I've found Keith's mummy." Oh dear, maybe Benny shouldn't have mentioned the word mummy. Wah! "Let's go and have a cup of tea at Mr. Lovelybun's cafe," said Claude. "Good idea," said Bobbly Sock, who had never knowingly turned down a fondant fancy. "I don't think Keith has been in a cafe before," said Sir Bobbly Sock. "You show him what to do, Claude, with your nice manners." Claude felt very important. He tucked the corner of his napkin neatly into his collar. He daintily picked up his sandwich and took a careful bite. Keith saw what to do, and soon he and Claude were both tucking in like Billy-O. But then Claude got a bit giddy. He took a big bite from his sandwich and splat! Wah! Keith did not like being covered in pickle one little bit. Mr. Lovelybuns was rather alarmed by the noise. It was very loud for a cafe, and his customers were getting terribly upset. "Do something, Claude," he cried. "Would it help if I played a tune on my hooter?" Claude asked. "No, Claude," said Mr. Lovelybuns quite firmly. "I think Keith might need to go for a little walk outside." Claude wasn't sure where to take Keith next, but then he had an idea. "How about a story time at the library? That always cheers me up." Keith seemed to like it inside the library. It was cool and quiet and far away from the pickle. Miss Hush, the librarian, was reading a story all about a very, very cross dragon. Miss Hush asked Claude if he could show everyone what the dragon might look like. Claude straightened his beret and smoothed out his jumper and gave his very best impression. Roar! Keith's beak wobbled and his eyes brimmed with tears. "Oh no," groaned Sir Bobbly Sock, holding to his specs. "Here we go again." Wah! Miss Hush was alarmed by the noise. It was awfully loud for a library. "Do something, Claude," said Miss Hush in her loudest whisper. Would it help if I played a tune on my hooter? Shouted Claude over the racket. Not in the library, Claude, said Miss Hush quite firmly. Sir Bobblysock peered out from behind the cushion where he'd taken refuge. Think, Claude, what would a duckling really like to do? I know, said Claude. Let's take Keith swimming. Claude hurried down the street to find Denzel and quickly popped the little duckling into one of his paddling pools. Keith seems to like swimming, said Denzel. He's taken to it like a duck to water, said Sir Bobblysock. Claude didn't think Keith would mind if he hopped in for a dip too. Splash! Keith blinked. Oh no, sighed Sir Bobblysock. Not again. Wah! Everyone was surprised by the noise. It was very loud, even for outside. Claude was relieved when he saw Benny coming back. Have you found Keith's mummy? He asked hopefully. Sorry, Claude, said Benny. I've looked everywhere, but I can't find her. I should have stuck with playing my hooter, said Claude, giving it a little toot, toot. Then something extraordinary happened. Keith stopped crying and started tapping his little ducky feet. Claude, said Sir Bobblysock in disbelief, I think he likes it. Toot, 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 ta, toot, toot. Keith hopped about, wiggling his feathery bottom and marching this way and that. And it turned out he wasn't the only one who liked Claude's hooter tooting. Quack, quack, quack. Keith's mummy and all his brothers and sisters had come back to join in with Claude's hooty music. Toot, toot, toot. Oh, I do so love a happy ending, said Sir Bobblysock, dabbling his eyes with his nice lace hanky. A rooty tooty toe-tam, ta-tooty toot toot. Claude led everyone in a big parade all the way to Powhaven Park. Well done, said Benny Begonia. He was very impressed with Claude and asked if he wouldn't mind being the park's chief duck minder. I'd love to, said Claude, but I think Sir Bobblysock needs some peace and quiet after all that noise. My nerves are all of a jangle soon, Sir Bobblysock. Just then they were startled by a very familiar noise. Wah! Oh dear, Keith didn't want Claude to go. Keith likes you, Claude, said Sir Bobblysock, panicking. He doesn't want you to leave. What are we going to do now? Luckily, Claude knew just what to do. When Mr. and Mrs. Shiny Shoes, the nice people who also lived in Claude's house, returned home that evening, they were surprised to find a family of ducks swimming in the kitchen sink. Goodness me, said Mr. Shiny Shoes. Where have all these ducks come from? You don't suppose Claude knows anything about it, do you? Asked Mrs. Shiny Shoes. Of course not, dear, said Mr. Shiny Shoes. Claude's been fast asleep all day. But Claude did know something about it, and we do too, don't we? The end.